I made $1,000 off a squatter breaking into one of my houses, and here is how. Now, I can tell you that this is not the norm, but it happened. I finally was profitable off a break-in. So here's the story. Here's what happened. We'll keep this video short, right? I was in Branson with my son. We're at the water park doing our thing on the weekend, and I get this phone call from the police. They're like, "Yo, Dave, blah, 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 blah." And what they tell me is, actually, I got a phone call from my real estate agent first. We're selling this house. It's a flip that I finished. It's on the market. It's listed. And the real estate agent went to look at the flip and was like, "Hey, you've got people and dogs in your house." I was like, "Oh, son of a bitch." So I called the police, because when you got squatters break into your house, you call, you press charges. I learned my lesson the hard way when I did not press charges the first time, and then 15 people came back, moved into my house, and caused me almost $80,000 worth of damage, and I sold the property that I was going to make a freaking killing on for like $3,000 in profit, which, don't get me wrong, still a win, but not in the grand scheme of things. Like, very painful lesson. So, press the charges. Don't have to like doing it, but it's the only way. The police will tell you too. It's the only way to get them to not come back. And then, anyway, so I get this phone call from the police. When they're there, they're like, "Hey, we walked the property. There's nobody here anymore. They're gone. They must have been scared off by the real estate agents. However, you've got a family of dachshunds living here, and what do you want us to do with it?" I'm like, "I don't know. What do you normally do?" They're like, "We call animal control." I'm like, "Ooh, all right." They're like, "But these ones are pretty cute. Like, normally we would have already called animal control, but we thought you might want them." I'm like, "They're cute?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, all right. What, 6 dachshunds? They're like, "Yeah, mom, dad, and 4 puppies that are like really, really little." And I'm like, huh, interesting. So then I definitely didn't show up at the house and get the dogs. That did not happen. No, there were definitely no dogs involved in this profiting. So, of course, I'm going to go by and look at the dogs. Look at this thing. How could you say no to this thing? This is like 4 weeks, 3 weeks later. Look at this little guy. I already have a Corgi, so now I've got both breeds of T-Rex leg dogs where their arms are nowhere near big enough for their torsos. But, are you shaking? We'd be okay. We'd be cool. If I let her down, she'll just sleep on my feet. That's what she always does. So, this is Glizzy. Yes, Glizzy, as in the hot dog, because it was a girl, and I was going to name it Richard, so I had Dick the Wiener Dog, and that just didn't work out because, well, it's a girl. So Glizzy, which means hot dog, and has some really inappropriate TikTok videos floating around. I got Glizzy the Wiener Dog, right? So you can't have a wiener dog and not name it some kind of penis joke. And I have Winston the Corgi. So I've got Winston and Glizzy. Anyway, so let's set this one down. Let her run around for a second. Oh, there you go. And so they call. They're like, "What do you want to do?" I'm like, "Just leave them. I'll come by." And it'll be like an hour and a half before I get there. So I go by. And of course, I got to secure the place. I got to drill the doors shut and stuff because, like I said, this one's not under my property manager or anything yet. It was just a flip that was done, and my contractor happened to be out of town. So, I'll go grab some Starkeys and drill the door shut. And I get in there, and these things are in a box. And the puppies I let them out of the box, and they're running all over the place, and then they get themselves out of I put them back in the box, they get themselves out of the box, and they're running all over the place, and they're just having way too much fun. And they're cute, and the mom and dad are pretty good dogs. So I'm like, all right, well, we'll see what happens. I'm going to take them back to the house. So I left a note on the door that was like, "Hey, I got your dogs, call me if you want them." Never got a phone call, so, what are you going to do? And so I go back home, and ultimately, I sold 2 of the dogs to a girl who works for my real estate agent. So he calls me later and he's like, "Thanks." He's like, "Tell me why I got 2 dachshunds pissing all over my office." Like, "You're welcome." So I sold 2 to her and her sister-in-law. And then a third to his executive assistant, like best friend, right? So all in-house kind of for that real estate agent. And because they were friends, I sold them for less than I probably could have. So we do the thing and bring the dogs back. So I go to PetSmart that night. I bought a cage, like one of those big pens. And I put them all in it, and the lady at PetSmart told me her mom paid $700 for a purebred dachshund. I'm like, holy crap, I didn't think they were worth that much. Now, granted, I have no papers, no vaccination, no nothing, right? But I sold 2 of them for $400 to one person, the third for $350, so we're at $750 total, so 200, 350. And then I was going to keep mom, dad, and that one, because it was the calmest in the group, and it had the best color coat, that like dusty gray with like the little brown socks. Adorable. But also it was the calmest of the group. And it was the only one that kind of got along with the Corgi, so I'm like, all right, well, we'll see what happens. And I was going to keep mom and dad, breed them again, why not? But The dad was a little territorial, so every time he came in the house, he pissed all over the place to mark his territory. And I'm like, I can't just keep dealing with that. He was very potty trained as long as the corgi wasn't in the house. But if the corgi was in the house, peed all over. And the mom was like an escape artist. She's escaped like 3 times. And I'm like, they came back, but I was like, I don't want to deal with the stress, and I don't want to deal with annoying the neighbors where they like, hey, I got your dog again, and they bring it back. And I definitely didn't want to do the whole like completely redo the chain link fence to dig it into the ground thing. Pain in the ass. So I put it online, and I sold those 2 for $500. So I sold all 5 of the 6 dogs for $1,250 without papers, without vaccinations, whatever. And then a door and a door jamb getting repaired for them kicking in the door, probably like $250. So we'll put it at $250, $1,000 profit off a break-in. Pretty funny story. Hopefully got some B-roll of the puppies that we're gonna throw in here, and hopefully my editor was able to throw the B-roll of the puppies that I gave him in this video, so that you could enjoy, all of them. And I've got some pictures too, and we'll just throw all that in the video. And ultimately, that's how I profited off some puppies. So this is not my normal type of video, but I thought it was an interesting story, and hopefully it helps you guys out with just like thinking through crappy situations to turn them into positive, right? Lemons, lemonade, boom. So make sure you like, subscribe, and join the Facebook group, and have a great fucking day. Thanks for watching. You've made it to the end of the video. If you got something valuable out of this, please consider smashing that like button, subscribing to the channel, and checking the little bell for notifications so that you get to see more valuable content. Depending on what you're interested in, we've got a ton of other playlists on real estate investing, military advice, getting rich in the military, VA loans, you name it. And make sure you get plugged in the community, in the Facebook group, and other platforms. Also, if you haven't done so yet and you've still got a lot of questions, especially if you're a younger service member, check out the No BS Guide to Military Life. This is everything I wish I'd known when I first joined the military, and I wrote it to pass on so that other people don't have to say, God, I wish someone had told me that when I was younger. So hope you got something out of this. If you got ideas for other videos or questions, throw them in the comments. I definitely do reply to most everything that's in my comments. And I look forward to seeing you around the channel again. Have a great day.